Hello to everyone in TV land. This is Focus on Liberia online television, and you're listening to the Focus on Liberia Daily News. I am Gwendolyn Dorado, your presenter. I bring you the headlines. George Blamo A. Dixon of Criminal Court C denies two separate raids filed by government prosecutors in the ongoing trial involving former officials and others who worked in the administration of former President George Weah. Liberia's ambassador designate to the United Nations Permanent Mission to New York, Louis Brown, vows to strategically reposition Liberia at the United Nations. Government of Liberia, through the Environmental Protection Agency, has signed a scholarship agreement with the University of Cambridge's Democratizing Education for Global Sustainability and Justice program. Away from home, Mali's military leader has sacked the prime minister and his government. These plus more developments coming up on the Daily News. Now the news in details. George Blamo A. Dixon of Criminal Court C denies two separate raids filed by government prosecutors in the ongoing trial involving former officials Samuel Toure, Jefferson Camo, Yanti Tuan, and others who worked in the administration of former President George Weah. During argument, Masurado County attorney representing the prosecution requested raids of Sapona Deuces Tacon and Sapona Ad Testificadum for Liberia Revenue Authority, Commissioner General Double Jala. The prosecution urges that Commissioner Jala's testimony and clarification were crucial in determining the validity of the surety bond filed by the defense team on behalf of the accused. However, defense lead lawyer Councillor Arthur Johnson opposes the motion, citing Chapter 63 of Liberia Civil Procedure Law and Chapter 13 of the Criminal Procedure Law. He further argues that the validity of a surety bond is a matter of the court to decide, not a subject requiring third-party testimony. Johnson emphasizes that such a determination falls under the jurisdiction of the presiding judge. Following arguments from both sides, George Dixon rules in favor of the defense, denying the prosecution's raid and upholding the defense's surety bond. He clarifies that under Liberian law, the prosecution may challenge the sufficiency of the surety bond by filing a notice of exceptions within 3 days of the bond's approval. Liberia's ambassador designate to the United Nations Permanent Mission to New York, Louis Brown, vows to strategically reposition Liberia at the United Nations to address the country's social, economic, and political needs in alignment with President Joseph Boakai's arrest agenda. Making his presentation on Wednesday, November 20, during the confirmation hearing by the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Brown, who is returning to the post having previously served under ex-President Sirleaf, says his duty now is to pick up the baton and run ahead with Liberia's interest. According to him, comparatively small Liberia might be and grapple with underdevelopment, but the country continues to do better globally. Liberia has never been a spectator to global development. The seasoned diplomat, who also worked under jailed former President Charles Taylor as foreign minister, says Liberia has led and participated from the front, and that many nations of the world, both big and small, have looked and referred to the country for guidance and leadership in determination of regional, sectoral, and global affairs. The government of Liberia, through the Environmental Protection Agency, has signed a scholarship agreement with the University of Cambridge's Democratizing Education for Global Sustainability and Justice program. The agreement was signed on Tuesday, November 19, during the COP29 Climate Conference in Baku. The deal will enabled 150 Liberians to enroll in an online course titled Climate Law and Governance. The course will be taught by professors from around the world, including Cambridge University. It is a non-credit 2-week or 8 to 10 hours online course that will certificate participants at the end of the course. Speaking at the signing ceremony, Dr. Emmanuel Uri Yakpawolo, Executive Director of the EPA, expressed gratitude to the Center for Sustainable Development and the University of Cambridge for their support. He said the program is going to build the capacity of Liberians interested in environmental law and governance, which is vital as we work on developing our climate law. The course is estimated at a market value of 1,800 GBP each per participant, and if 150 Liberians benefit, this is 1,800 GBP times 150, which is 270,000 GBP. For her part, Professor Marie Claire Cordonia Sega, representing the Democratizing Education for Global Sustainability and Justice program, shared her enthusiasm about the partnership. She said the course aligns with the goals of the Paris Agreement and will strengthen legal capacity in sustainable development, which borders on law and policy. She added that the program's mission is to democratize education on sustainable development and provide legal training globally. The former Minister for Finance and Development, Samuel D. Toure, has rebutted the statement made by the Boakai administration's Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Augustine Kwehe Ngafua, regarding putting an end to government employees earning below the minimum wage US 150 as prescribed by the Decent Work Act by January 2025. According to Minister Ngafua on Tuesday, the government has allocated funds to ensure that beginning January 2025, no government employee who earns monthly gross salary below US 150 minimum, as provided for in the Decent Work Act of 2015, receives less than US 150 as monthly gross salary. He vowed that all government employees will be paid on or before the 24th of each month, noting that the changes will take immediate effect this month. However, Toure has argued that news of no government worker making below US 150 is a policy implemented by the Coalition for Democratic Change administration since 2022. He pointed out that there were only a few workers making below the amount of US 150 due to the suspension of other factors. Toure observed that the CDC government pushed the more than 15,000 workers who were making below US 150 minimum wage threshold above the level more than 2 years ago, noting that it had an annual cost of around US 6 million. In an unprecedented display of financial management and political irresponsibility, the government of Liberia has suspended a national budget with over US 10 million allocated to the offices of President Joseph Boakai, Vice President Jeremiah Cohn, Speaker J. Fonati Kofa, Senate Pro Tempore Yomblikanga Lawrence, and other high-ranking officials. The budget, more than US 11 million dedicated to the luxury of a few elite individuals, is yet another testament to the government's disconnect from the daily suffering of ordinary Liberians. Liberia's businessman and politician Simeon Freeman has disclosed that while the people of Liberia are crushed by inflation, unemployment, and a staggering tax burden, The political class continues to indulge itself with lavish funds at the expense of the nation's economic well-being. President Boakai's office alone is allocated nearly US 3 million, while Vice President Cohn's office receives US 3.38 million. Speaker Kofa's office gets US 1.9 million, and Senate Pro Tempore Yumli Kanga Lawrence is granted US 1.5 million. These figures revealed not just an inequitable distribution of the national wealth, but a troubling priority system that continues to enrich those in power while ignoring the plight of the Liberian people. Seymour Freeman, a leading businessman and the head of the opposition movement for progressive change, has once again raised his voice against what he deems an irresponsible and reckless government. According to Freeman, the government's decision to allocate a staggering portion of the national budget to the comfort of top officials while the average Liberian struggles with the weight of excessive taxes demonstrates a clear disregard for the suffering of ordinary citizens. Global Mission Initiatives, a U.S. Liberia-based religious organization, on Sunday, November 17, honored two of Liberia's outstanding Christian leaders. The honoring ceremony was a part of GMI's first anniversary since its establishment in 2023. Both Archbishop Dr. Isaac S. Winker Sr. and Bishop Dr. Carter K. Brown, who were not physically present, were presented individually with Distinguished Christian Leadership Award for their outstanding dedicated and sacrificial services to the Church and humanity. Archbishop Winker is the founder and overseer of the Isaac Winker Global Ministries Incorporated and Dominion Christian Fellowship, and Bishop Brown is the bishop of the Apostolic Pentecostal Church International and also pastors the New Water in the Desert Assembly. Bishop Dr. G. Lorenzo Stevens, GMI's founder and vision bearer, also presented certificate of recognition to three of his national local leaders, including Pastor James T. Cooper, National Director, Bishop Tolbert T. Dixon, ex-official, and Apostle Dr. Samuel B. Carr, the National Advisor. Pastor Cooper pastors the Maranatha Apostolic Pentecostal Church in Fiamma, while Bishop Dixon is the overseer of the Ebenezer Don Stewart Christ Pentecostal Church in Newtown, Bushra Island, and Apostle Carr leads the Triumphant Living Miracle Assembly in Bartonsville. The breakaway bloc of the House of Representatives has formally endorsed a resolution to declare Speaker Jonathan Kofa's position vacant, citing his failure to appear before a specialized committee on 3 occasions to respond to allegations leveled against him. The resolution, supported by 50 lawmakers, was read by Acting Chief Clerk Comek Chie during a session in the joint chamber of the legislature on Thursday, November 21. The motion to adopt the resolution and implement its recommendations was introduced by Bond County District Number 7 Representative James Collet. Mr. Presiding, co-presiding, and fellow members, having listened to the special committee's report with 50 signatures, I move that the report be endorsed and effectuated with immediate effect. Collet stated in his motion. He also proposed giving Speaker Kofa a 1-week ultimatum to vacate the office and requested the executive branch withdraw all privileges and amenities associated with the position. The breakaway group initiated the process based on Rule 9.1.1 of the House of Representatives, which mandates a 2/3 vote to remove the Speaker, as well as Article 49 of the 1986 Liberian Constitution. They argued that the decision followed due process, noting that Speaker Kofa had been invited on 3 separate occasions to respond to accusations raised by 6 lawmakers but declined to appear. The specialized committee's report detailed the Speaker's absence and noted that his refusal to engage with the committee undermined the legislative body's integrity. In the interim, Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala has been designated as acting Speaker following Rule 10.1 of the House's guidelines for leadership succession. Fala, presiding over the session, announced that he has no intention for vying for the speakership. Away from Liberia, Mali's military leader has sacked the Prime Minister Sugar Kokala Maga and his government. It follows rare criticism by Maga of the junta's lack of clarity about a once-promised return to democracy. A decree read on state television by junta leader Colonel Assimi Gota said the duties of the Prime Minister and the members of the government were terminated. Mali has suffered years of jihadist and separatist violence, resulting in military coups in 2020 and 2021, back power to civilians by March 2024, but subsequently postponed the vote. Relations between the military president and his civilian prime minister have been worsening for some time. On Saturday, Maga, while speaking to his supporters, criticized the lack of transparency in the running of the transition. That does it for the Daily News. I do a recap of the headlines. Judge Blamo A. Dixon of Criminal Court C denies 2 separate raids filed by government prosecutors in the ongoing trial involving former officials and others who worked in the administration of former President George Weah. Liberia's ambassador designate to the United Nations Permanent Mission to New York, Louis Brown vows to strategically reposition Liberia at the United Nations. Government of Liberia, through the Environmental Protection Agency, has signed a scholarship agreement with the University of Cambridge's Democratizing Education for Global Sustainability and Justice program. And away from home, Mali's military leader has sacked the Prime Minister and his government. On behalf of the staff and management of Focus on Liberia, many thanks to our listeners and viewers. We urge that you keep following us and share our videos. My name is Gwendolyn Dorado. I presented.